は一体何なんだ。お団地だ。What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another Sinoalice video here on the channel. And this morning we did get some new bits of things we're going to be seeing coming to the game this week. So let's get into what we have. So first off, we are going to have a new banner. I believe we still have the current banners. I think the poacher banner might be leaving this week, or it might be another week before it leaves. But at any rate, we're either going to have 2 or 3 banners going on. We're going to have Alice Minstrel with various weapons to be added, along with a raid up for Lindworm. So that's going to be the banner for this week. I will go over the weapons in the banner momentarily. And then we also are going to have more Twilight Crystal sale. So this is the same exact sale we got before. If you guys are dolphins or whales, it is a very solid different sales to pick up. Like for instance, the top end pack is like $80 and you basically get, I believe, close to 7 multi-summons on it. So very good value if you are looking to buy crystals for pulls. So, and then finally, we do have the Heart of the Sandstorm event, which is going to be the new armor event coming, which is going to give you super effective damage towards orc-type enemies. So more than likely, the next raid we get is going to be an orc enemy. So we'll see what element that is. I do have some information from the JP server on that as well. So let's first hop in here and let's look at the weapons for today. So first we have the Bell Staff, which is going to be a fire staff. It's going to have at 120 the stats, max of 6184. It's going to have physical defense recovery 1, blessed chapel 3. Then we are going to have the Violin of Bondage. This is going to have max stats of 6176, and it's going to have Warrior Waltz 4, and then it's going to have Replenished Magic 1. So this is pretty solid. I know since I did look this up real quick on like what level 80 is. It's about 4816 on total stats for level 80, which is what most people are not going to be going for limit breaks. You know, you may get limit breaks over time throughout pulling dupes randomly, but more than likely you're just going to go for the level 80, unless you're a really big whale. But and it's going to give you massive attack up for physical attackers. So this is a physical attacker minstrel weapon. It does give you some SP recovery for your colo skill. So for supports, this replenished magic isn't very good, just because they don't really have a too big issue maintaining SP cost. So but still, you know, it's a pretty solid weapon. I believe the limit breaks on the Alice job, which we can go into in a little bit, gives you pretty decent amount of physical defense and then gives you HP for your limit breaks. Then we have the Windcap Bow. It is going to have Dauntless Courage 2, and it's going to have massive damage to one target for being a bow type. And it's going to have 17 cost and max stats of 6192, so pretty good stats there. This probably is definitely going to be the better weapon than the sword. The sword is going to have 6160 stats, so about same stat-wise you guys see here. Magical attack and physical attack on the bow, though, to note, is about the same. So if you're like kind of like in a spot for, you know, you don't really know whether you want to lean more towards magic attack or physical attack, that bow is still a good pickup because it has Dauntless Courage 2, massive multiplier, and it gives you pretty dead even for physical and magic attack. So it's a very good attack or bow to have in your grid, whether or not you're using, you know, magic or physical attack primarily. The sword, though, actually has pretty darn close to as well. So both these weapons have very similar physical to magic attack ratio. And then this sword, though, does have massive multiplier tier 4 for a single target, and then it has a physical attack debuff, which unfortunately is one of the worst support colo skills. Generally, you want to have attack up, whether it's Dauntless Courage or just a regular physical attack bonus, or even Replenished Magic is better. So the sword, I'd say, is definitely a skip for you guys. You guys do not need to have this sword. Probably a lot of you guys have a lot of good wind swords as it is. Fire swords are probably what you guys may need more of if you guys are breaker mains. But yeah, still, you know, if you guys are looking to pull, maybe to get some September medals, you know, go for it. But I say for DPS, Probably a skip, especially if you guys are Paladin mains. Keep in mind we are going to be having a Paladin banner again coming up for the Space Invaders collab, so you guys are going to want to save for that as well. So I say for Minstrels, could pull, because you do have 2 weapons you could snag, and you do get a job with your weapon. But for DPS, especially Paladins, I think it's a skip. Crushers, I feel, is a skip as well. And even, you know, the Dauntless Courage is enticing, but I feel you guys don't need to have it. So let's go into the next bit of news here. So we have, obviously, that event, which we already looked at. So let's go here real fast to the Heart of Sandstorm event in JP. So if we look here, guys, we do, let me pull this over just a little bit. All right. So here, you guys see the drop rates. We are going to have an S Phoenix for this event as well, which I'll break into that as well for you guys. Show you guys the stats on that, but you guys know most of the time farming these free armor events for the Nightmares, or just any event for Nightmares, generally the stat pool is not going to be nearly as good as they will be for Gacha Nightmares or paid Nightmares, obviously. So, but you guys are going to have a 1% drop rate for this Nightmare on verse 5 and 6, and then verse 9 and 10 you will have a 5% drop rate. So depending on what the stamina cost is, maybe this is worth it if you guys are really just looking to improve rank for, like, maybe if you're a DPS class, you're just looking to push to that 150, see what the drops are going to be and what the stamina cost will be for verse 9 and 10. Because probably it's a very similar drop rate if you're just looking to get it for fodder for your main grade Nightmares or even your subgrade Nightmares, but we'll have to see on that. And for drop rate for verse 5 and 9, you guys see here, this is where you can get some drops for the armor. So you have a polearm drop rate of 5%. And then for verse 9, it should be, there's a drop rate of, on 5 and 9, you have a drop rate of 5% for the polearm and magic tool. And then you guys, for the hood and the gloves. And then drop rate of 1% for straitjacket, boots, gloves, polearm, and then magic tool, which I believe magic tool, I would assume that is instrument. And then Blackhorn hood, straitjacket, and boots is going to be 1% as well for the hood, the straitjacket, and boots. And then the Blackstone gloves, magic tool is going to be 5%. So higher drop rate for those here for 5 and 9. For 6 and 10. Straitjacket ranged weapon is going to be a 5% drop rate, and then your Blackstone Boot Grimoire books is going to be a 5% drop rate. And then the 1% drop rate for your ranged weapons for basically the rest of them, hood, gloves, boots, and then Grimoire, hood, straitjacket, gloves for that. So it looks like from this event, at least, unless they do have like the other things are all locked in there just at a lower drop rate, because they did do that before where they didn't advertise this as having all of the elements having drop rates, or it could be another event coming later on where they're going to have the other weapon types added to the orc armor set later on, but we'll see. But right now, as far as DPS goes, it looks like you just have bow and polearm for your DPS, and then you have, I believe, instrument and grimoire for your support class, which honestly, it doesn't really matter for support class, to be honest, because you don't really get much of a benefit being a support because you're not dealing damage to the orcs, so it really only matters for the DPS. Really, the only thing that matters for your support class is getting those increased stats. I'll be evolving it to an SR gear eventually if you guys choose to farm this event. And it says here the event time frame subject to change. Players must clear the previous verse to reach the next verse. The verses won't open up, players clear them in co-op. Nightmare Phoenix isn't guaranteed dropping the above verses. The drop rate will differ and the event may be recycled later on. And I'm sure you are going to have a guaranteed drop on stage 10 like we normally do for the Nightmares, more than likely, as well as probably some guaranteed drops for the armor, like for some first time clears and all that stuff. But that's the general drop rates of it. Alright guys, so I did briefly want to show you what they have in the JP database as far as the Blackstone straitjacket piece. So it shows here in the database they only have 4 types. So they have a focus one, which I think it's either orb or it's got to be instrument. So they have that there. They have the tome, obviously, and then they have range and pole arm. So that means it's going to be a pole arm. Obviously, is going to be your spear for your paladin. Range is going to be your bow gunner for your DPS. So just wanted to show that real quick before we go into the Alice job to go over that real fast. So you guys can see that it does not look like they ever did add the Blackstone straight jacket for the other types. So I would assume that's all we're going to get unless they do change it on the global server. Like, they could totally do that, but from the JP notes, that's what that is there. Alright guys, so to wrap up the video, let's go over Alice Minstrel real fast. So see here. So obviously Josh is going to get instrument of 10% up, and then she has her other affiliate stages for level 9, 5, and 1. And for her common stats, she total is going to get a total of 200 magical and physical defense. She's going to get 100 of magic attack and physical attack, 50 HP, and then actually a total of 100 HP. So basically 100 in all stats. Up to level 10, and then if you guys do get her Arcana, she'll get an additional 400 HP. So that is how Alice looks like. And then if we do go to her weapon real fast, just to show you guys, 4816 on her total stats for her weapon. Physical attack of 1577, physical defense of 834, magic attack of 1573, and magical defense of 832. The unfortunate thing about this weapon is that it's very high in attack and not very high in defense, which unfortunately, I guess, I don't know. I shouldn't speak that because I don't play a Minstrel. I can't remember off the top of my head if Minstrel scales their buffs off of attack for magical or physical attack, or if it does on defense. I know healing's based on defense for clerics, but here you guys see it. If it increases physical attack by a massive amount for obviously a physical type DPS, and then you have your magic replenish 1. So that is pretty much everything going on for the update what we have so far, guys. So let me know what you guys think of Alice Minstrel banner. Let me know if you guys are going to be summoning for that. Spoot may do a should you summon more in-depth video on the weapons once he gets around to it, maybe on Monday for you guys. But I just wanted to go over real quick before, so you guys can see all the different data that we have so far for the game, for the upcoming events, for the armor events, for also the for the banner coming up this week, and all that good stuff. So let me know your guys' thoughts, opinions on this week's update in the comment section down below, guys. Let me know if you guys plan to farm out this event, if you guys are any of those class type mains, or if you guys are just going to get like random pieces of the gear to just throw in for the events, when we do get that raid coming up. Like, remember when we had the dragon armor event, we did have the dragon raid come soon after. So if we don't see the raid this week, I would assume it's going to drop probably with the invaders update that we get, which should be, I believe, in 2 weeks from now. So let me know, guys, all in the comment section down below. If you guys did enjoy today's content, make sure you guys drop a like down below, hit subscribe, you guys are new, and ring that bell so you do not miss this next Sinoalice video here on Fort Misery Gaming. I thank you guys so much for watching once again, and we'll see you all